I think I'm properly visible. Yes. Oh, very good evening to everyone. So, guys, today let's talk about world literature. That's very important topic, and maximum students who are coming from state university backgrounds or private colleges, they do not get these kind of classes and get confused. So today in this class we will be talking about world literature. Parallel, you are getting lectures on British history. There they are teaching you British history. There you will have some lectures also. But remember this thing, we have to go for world literature equally. So what is world literature? The very first point that I have written here. Yes, good evening. Take a pen and paper. Take pen paper. So let's talk about world literature. The very first thing that you have to remember is that the world literature actually became prominent after 1900. This was the timing of 1901 when Queen Victoria dies. This was the time that the countries were already having trade with other countries. And then during the World War One, they came in contact with almost all the countries and realized that we need someone to lead the world. जब वर्ल्ड वॉर वन हुआ तो सबको पता चला कि देर आर सो मेनी कंट्रीज एंड वी मस्ट हैव अ लीडर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. हर ग्रुप में एक लीडर होना चाहिए. Even if you have the best football team, there is one captain. So they wanted to have one world leader. There they came in contact with culture, literature of each other. Like the Europeans started studying Japanese. So gradually, when they came in contact with each other, the translations started taking place. So the rise of translation studies, transcreation, transliteration, these kind of things, it resulted in rise of world literature. Now, how can I read Japanese literature? Because that's written in English and I know English, so I understand the English books written in English. So, reading those books in English, I have an access to go for Japanese literature. So, that was one of the biggest reasons that by 1901, and then in extreme situations, Second World War, 1950s, the translation literature got converted into extremes. We have transliteration, transcreation, then there are so many theories related to translation. And technically, English became the global language. English became a pidgin. And we have access of those literatures now. I have used the word pidgin. Pidgin. What is pidgin? Pidgin. Pidgin is simple. A bridge language which is used by two people who have their own languages. A Kashmiri in India talks to a person from Kerala, they can communicate in English. So, first language of Kashmiri is Kashmiri. First language of Malayali is Malayalam. The second language they have is English. So, English played a great role as a pidgin in India. They ask a question in JNU PhD entrance that discuss the role of English language as a pidgin in the world in India. So English, a global language, it provided us access to various types of literatures and various types of literatures coming from various cultures. It made us explore the unseen side of literature. Now put the title, some basic introductions only. Put the title, Japanese literature. Now for basic introduction, just write Japanese literature. I have a habit of writing down things. I am also writing these things. What do you know about Japanese literature? First think, क्या जानते हो आप Japanese literature के बारे में? सोचो. Focus if you remember any name from Japanese literature. And then when you feel that you don't remember any name or you don't remember those Japanese literary styles, then remember these kind of questions have been asked in exam. These kind of questions have been asked in exam. Do you know what are the questions which have been asked in exam? Haiku, Haiku, haiku poetry, Haiku, 17 syllable poetry. Yes, Janvi. Janvi has written this a haiku, Haiku, haiku style poetry. Then haikai no renga, haikai no renga, Haikai, Haikai, haikai no renga, Norenga. Another style. Then no drama. No drama. And along with these things, the famous writers from Japan, Haruki Murakami, very important writer. Many questions in that exam. Haruki Murakami. Another Japanese writer, very important writer, Kazuo Ishiguro, also a Nobel Award writer. Booker Nobel दोनों मिला है इसको. Then there is Matsuo Basho, then Igwe. There are so many writers. Now just think for 2 minutes. Were you aware of these things? क्या आपको ये चीजें पहले आती थी? नहीं आती थी ना? So just feel good that you are in the class and now you'll be learning these kind of literature, French, German, Italian, all types of literature. I'll be teaching you Bangladeshi writers. I'll be teaching you Sri Lankan writers which have been asked in exam. There are questions from Yasmin Gunratne, Nihal De Silva. Both are Sri Lankan writers. Michelle Ondadji, Sri Lankan diasporic writers. We'll be studying Pakistani writers. Mohsin Hamid, Hanif Qureshi. These kind of writers will be studying. Bapsi Sidhwa. Then you just have to be happy first. पहले तो थोड़ा सा be happy. Why? Because you can work hard. You deserve net. You deserve JRF. You are simply missing it because nobody guided you. No, Manisha, Korean literature they are not adding, but there are some questions asked in net, not from Koreans. There are writers from Mexico. They are going for the writers from the country called Uganda. There are questions from various countries. Colombian writers have been asked. Till now, no Korean writers. I keep checking papers. Till now, no Arabian feminism. So what we do is we are keeping an eye. We will be studying African literature, Afro-American literature, black narratives, slave narratives. We'll be dealing with Australian literature, then Aboriginal literature in Australia, Canadian literature, then Aboriginal literature in Canada. We'll be going for all these things. These lectures, this is how we're going to start. So I was just giving you an idea. So basic idea of Japanese literature is that, and these are the questions. Haiku is a question, 17 syllable poetry. Haikai no renga is a poetry style. No drama. Even English writers, John Masefield, he imitated the style. Then there are questions from Haruki Murakami and Kazuo Ishiguro. This is how we'll proceed for world literature. We will go for German literature. Now, let's go for German literature. This is basic introduction. You don't have to worry about it. ये मत सोचना कि अभी topic हो गया मुझे आया नहीं. This is basic introduction. I'm just telling you that how we are going to get JRF. We are going to read things which people have not even heard about. हम वो चीजें अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हो जो लोगों ने सुनी नहीं है. Then we have German literature. What's the best thing about German literature? Bolo. What's the best thing about German literature? Anybody who knows it? How many of you know English Romanticism was inspired by German literature, German movement? 90% people in India who read from basic books, they will simply go for French Revolution. They will say, okay, English Romanticism, only French Revolution. If you know only French Revolution, it means you have prepared only graduation level. So if you think English Romanticism is inspired by French Revolution only, then you have not prepared for NET. German philosophy, Strum and Drang philosophy, STRUM, Strum and Drang philosophy. Strum and Drang, DRANG. That's the Strum and Drang philosophy is the first base of English Romanticism. There are questions in exam that Coleridge was inspired by the German writers. Who are those German writers? He was inspired by Immanuel Kant, Schlegel, Sellers. So please remember the point. When I will be teaching you German writers, I will be dealing with Fate Theater of Germany, Fate Theater, Epic Theater, and German idealism. These kind of things. We'll be dealing with German literature. Your family members who say that NET is easy, why you are not able to qualify? Literature ही तो है, कहानी ही तो है, आसानी से पढ़ सकते हैं. उनको दिखाना ये वीडियो. उनको बताना that we will be studying German, French, Russian, Canadian, Australian, African, Afro-American, then Pakistani, Bangladeshi writer, Monica Ali, then Sri Lankan writers, then East Asian writers, then South Asian writers. You know, तहमीमा अनाम, अखिल शर्मा, नदीफा मोहम्मद, ये सब पढ़ने पड़ेंगे जो किसी ने सुने भी नहीं हैं. Why I was qualifying NET again and again? Why our students qualify in an easy way? Because NET paper is not tough. It is simple that you people have not been taught in your universities like that. Priya has asked a very good question that do we have questions from Afghanistan? Yes. Khalid Hussaini, kite runner. We have to answer that. There are questions like that from this. And there are writers from Iran, Azhar Nafisi, famous book Reading Lolita in Tehran. That's the question. The writers have been asked from Singapore. Bonnie Hicks, excuse me, are you a model? That's the question of NET exam. NET में पढ़ना बहुत होता है. But now you will know exactly what to read. At least you will be sure about it. That पढ़ना क्या है. So, in German we'll be dealing with these right things. Along with that, we'll also go for German realism, German idealism, German realism. That's very important thing that we have to study. German idealism and German realism. Then comes Russian literature. When we say Russian literature, people say Leo Tolstoy, Anton Chekhov, right? Do you know any other writer except these two writers? Leo Tolstoy, Anton Chekhov? Batao. Boris Eckenbaum is a theory writer. Okay, good. Anyone else? Nikolai Gogol. बहुत बढ़िया. Very good. Alexander Pushkin. That's really good. Very good. So imagine those who are going to compete, they have not even heard about these names. We will be teaching you the Russian writing style, Pushkin stanza, also known as Eugene Onegin style. We'll be dealing with Russian realism when I'll be teaching you Dostoevsky, Fyodor Dostoevsky. We'll be studying Nikolai Gogol. We'll be studying the famous writer Ivan Bunin. We'll be studying Ivan Gorchunov. The special kind of hero, a very different kind of hero, the superfluous man. There are two questions in NET exam. What is superfluous man and in which book we find a superfluous man? We'll be teaching you all these things. All these things. Russian literature is 90% known for Russian realism. Russian literature for Russian realism. They'll be simply asking you one question. It's a question of NET exam. In Cherry Orchard by Anton Chekhov, who dies at the end? It's a question of NET. First dies at the end. There are questions like this. Who has written a story on grief? So when I'll be dealing with Russian literature, we'll also go for the Russian literature dealing with the upper class. A hero who is so rich, extremely rich, that he doesn't even come out of his room for approx first 50 pages of the story. First 50 pages of the story, he doesn't even come out of his room. He's in the room watching TV, lying in bed, switching to sofa, sofa to bed, bed to sofa, watching TV. He doesn't even come out of his room, just like COVID lockdown. We'll be reading Anna Akhmatova's Orphans. This is my style. Read this much that nobody has, nobody even dreams to compete you. Itna padna hai. And we'll be reading all these things in a proper way. Then with Russians, once you are done with, we'll go for Italian writers. Now people don't even know this thing, that why Italian writers are famous. Anybody who can tell me why Italian writers are famous? Anyone? Janvi, बहुत बढ़िया. Janvi has taken classes. She's a renewal batch student. Janvi, you're making me proud. Very good. I'm proud of you. मुझे पता है तुम्हारे अलावा कोई नहीं बोलेगा. तुम्हारे वाला means my students. Except my students, कोई नहीं बताएगा. That's Italian Renaissance. Italian Renaissance inspired Jacobean writers. Can you connect Jacobean writers? Remember the White Devil, where the hero comes from Italian court and talks about Italian lifestyle. The girl gets mesmerized and falls in love. Then Duchess of Malfi, there is Italian reference. Robert Browning, My Last Duchess, Italian Renaissance reference. Italian literature is known for Italian Renaissance. Aestheticism, beauty. That's aesthetic literature. Along with that, we have travelogue writers. So Renaissance, revival of learning, and travelogues. The famous writer Filippo Tommaso Marinetti, the famous writer Italo Calvino. I'll be teaching you all these things. So just be happy. Now you will be knowing writers. खुशी की चीज ये है that you will be knowing what to read. You can work hard. You can study for 8 hours, 10 hours. But when you know exactly what to do, there was a ship in the middle of the water. समुद्र के बीच में एक पानी का जहाज था. पानी का जहाज समुद्र के बीच बंद हो गया. It stopped. All the engineers, they tried to restart the jahaj, but it didn't work. Then they all got frustrated. They all got scared. They were about to die. No communication. One old man, he said, I want to try. The captain thought that were all the engineers, they couldn't do this thing. What will be this man doing? But then captain had no other option. So captain thought, okay, try. You also try. So the man went in the engine cabin, came out, asked for a hammer. He said, give me a hammer. So as the problem was a big problem, the big ship, captain came with a big hammer. The old man said, no, not the bigger one. Give me the small hammer, very small hammer. Captain was like, okay. Captain gave him a small hammer. The old man went inside the ship cabin, engine cabin, and then 3 times he knocked somewhere. They all heard the knock 3 times, and the engine started. When he came out, everybody thanked him. Captain thanked him. Captain said, can I pay something to you? Should I pay something to you? The old man smiled and said, I will send the bill to your company. When they reached, company called the captain. Company said, what is this? Somebody has sent a bill of $100 million because he helped the ship to start. Captain also forgot. Captain thought, who? What? The old man came. Captain said, you knocked it just for 3 times. 2 minutes. 3-time knocking. You asking 100 million? Give me just $10. He said, it's only $10. Then old man smiled and said that yes, 3 times I knocked somewhere, $10. Give me $10. But the remaining amount, 99,990,000 million dollars for the knowledge where to hit. So what I did was okay, $10. But where exactly I did, that's called knowledge, experience, learning. So earlier you were studying for 8 hours, but you had limited options, limited writers. Now even if you study for 4 hours, but 1 hour for Italians, 1 hour for Japanese, you will be more prepared than anyone else. And that's what you have to understand. The next one we go for Pakistani writers. Imagine you have to read Pakistani writers. Pakistani literature, Pakistani writers. If you wonder, do we have any questions in exam, net exam? Yes. Mohsin Hamid, famous writer, Mohsin Hamid. Mohsin Hamid. Hanif Qureshi. They are famous writers. The Trauma Theory from Pakistan, Alamgir Hashmi. You must be thinking that these writers are so new. When I was teaching in University of Delhi, these are very normal writers. We teach these writers. We used to discuss these writers. So Alamgir Hashmi, Mohsin Hamid, Hanif Qureshi, Nadifa Muhammad, these kind of writers, they are all simple writers dealing with the literature of post-colonial mindset, South Asian mindset. Hanif Qureshi finds out the LGBTQ reference in Pakistani culture, also the part of subcultures in Asia. What is subcultures in Asia? Have you ever wondered about this thing? And we have just talked about Japanese, German, Russian, Italian, Pakistani. We have to go for Bangladeshi writers, Monica Ali, then Khwaja Asman, then Sri Lankan writers, Yasmin Gunratne, Nihal De Silva, then 2 more writers. Then we have to go for Singapore, Mexico, Uganda, Colombian, these writers, along with the big countries, Australia, Canada, Africa, Afro-Americans, black narratives. So set your timetable. Exam will be in the month of June. Be ready. पढ़ने को तैयार हो जाओ, because my duty is to give you 100% knowledge that is important for net. You have to work. You have to work hard. Are you watching those success stories? Success stories by the people we are posting one by one. Watch those stories. There is one common thing. They will be saying, sir, we revised your lectures. We revised your notes. They are saying the same thing again and again. If you revise it 2 times, 3 times, if you listen to my lectures, my homework, nobody can stop your JRF. One of my students from Odisha, I'm going to post her video maybe tomorrow. She told me she comes from a background where she did not even know the spelling of Chaucer. She says, sir, Chaucer ka spelling nahi aata tha. We didn't know the spelling of Chaucer. And she's a JRF. Now she's a JRF. We are going to post videos of the girls who were married, had kids. They have sent photos of their kids. Sir, my 4-year kid saying hello to you. They have done NET, they have done JRF. So one thing, when I was asking them again and again, I was asking, how did you prepare? They were saying, sir, we revised it for 2 times, for 3 times. So 2-3 revise कर दो. 2-3 revision जरूरी है. 1 time revision knowledge, 2nd time revision strong knowledge, 3rd time revision perfect knowledge. So if you have perfect knowledge, 3 times revision, exam is in the month of June. I will be completing your complete syllabus by the end of April. April के end में. By the end of April, we will finish the syllabus so that we can go for paper solutions. Set paper solution, net paper solution. We have a digital board where we'll be going for paper solutions along with 3 a.m. session. 1 month before 3 a.m. session. Yes, Ekta, thank you for reminding me. Karat karat abhyas, jadmati ho suzan, rasri avat jaat, pathar padat nisan. And one more thing before I switch the session off, एक secret है. Don't tell it to people what I'm teaching here, okay? Don't share it with people. That's the reason we don't reveal our exact syllabus, what I teach. लोगों को मत देना, अपना competition मत बढ़ाना. Don't increase your competition. Make syllabus, make timetable, make a rough copy, write down in fair copy, but also remember that rough copy can help you. Read something on your own. When I teach you Hamlet and I say read it, read from Spark Notes. When you read from Spark Notes, read plot summary, read themes and motif, read characters. Plot summary, themes and motif, and characters. And you'll be getting everything. Do that thing. Okay, guys. Then see you soon. And I'll be teaching you these topics one by one. In live sessions, we'll be completing world literature one by one, where I will teach the writers' works. I will make you write. You will also get those PDFs in your groups. आपको PDF भी मिलेगी group में. You can take a direct printout. Okay. So, and yes, WB said, first complete whatever you can complete in the class. WB set and net syllabus is same. Northeast syllabus, net syllabus is same. So don't think they have some different thing. GATE has some different syllabus. So GATE, you'll be getting different lectures for that thing. Okay? Focus on this. And at least 4 hours. 2 hours in a day, 2 in the evening. Minimum 4 hours, please. So that by the time of exam, you can go for 6 hours, 8 hours. Okay, guys. Then see you. Take care.